We don't need Vice President Vance's permission to believe that, because we've said that for 80 years, that there's a difference between Klal Yisrael and a political state. All right, before you write the angry comment, no, I'm not a Republican Party spokesman. And no, I'm not going to tell you every word out of JD Vance's mouth has been perfect. And also, no, I do not represent the Jewish people at large. However, I'm going to do something that almost nobody in this conversation is doing right now. Look at the man's actual record. Weigh it in against what actually matters to a Frum Yid. And tell you honestly why I think that if he's the nominee in 2028, we should be behind him. This is not a Zionist argument. You know me, I don't do the Zionist arguments. This is a Torah-Yid-in-America argument, and let's get into it. Every 4 years, the same trick gets played on our community. Do you support Israel or not? As if that's the only question on the ballot. Chaverim, that is not even a question for an American Jew. The President of the United States does not run a shul, and he is not the Prime Minister of Israel, nor should he be, and nor should we be voting for him if he is. He runs a country of 300,000 and 30 million people, and the question a Torah Yid should be asking is much narrower. Does this man's domestic agenda let me raise my children with freedom of religion in Yiddishkeit, so I can have my cheder, my community safe, and live without the government's boot on my neck? Really, the biggest lesson of the Holocaust was the dangers of big government, and that's what we have to be worried about. So on that question, school choice, parental rights, religious liberty carve-outs, a Justice Department that hasn't been hunting yeshivas, the Vance era GOP has been about as good a partner to Torah Jewry has had in generations. That's not a Zionism question, that's a daily life question, and it's the one that actually determines whether your grandchildren have the opportunity to continue to be Frum. And here's something the loudest critics conveniently skip over. This wasn't a man who discovered Orthodox Jews the week he needed our votes. Long before he was on anyone's VP shortlist, back when he was just the junior senator from Ohio, Vance was showing up in our rooms. He addressed gatherings such as the Tzedek conference, that was by report mostly Hasidic and Orthodox, and told them plainly, in America we love Jews. Not a line crafted by a campaign consultant for a swing state photo op. A line delivered to our community specifically years before he ran for vice president. During his 2022 Senate run, he sat down directly with Ohio's organized Jewish community, lay leaders, professional leaders, the whole apparatus, and made his case in the room, not just in a press release. And the closest person to him his entire political career, his chief of staff from his very first day as senator-elect straight through the vice president's office, is an Orthodox Jew, a man Vance calls a loyal and discerning advisor and friend, close enough that Vance himself gave a bracha under the chuppah at his wedding. It's not a relationship you fake for 4 years to win an election. That's a track record. And here's where it gets interesting. Now, I don't mean actual bracha, but I mean, you know what I mean. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and here's where I'll lose some of you for a minute, but stay with me. Vance has spent the several last months saying things that, frankly, sound a lot more like us than like AIPAC. He told pro-Israel advocates directly that American interests and Israeli interests are not automatically the same thing, and that treating every disagreement with an Israeli government policy as Jew hatred cheapens the term and makes it useless when real antisemitism shows up. He said it plainly. If everything is Jew hatred, then nothing is. Now, a Hasidic Yid from Satmar, or a Litvish Yid from Brisk, or really even the non-Zionists from Aguda, we don't need Vice President Vance's permission to believe that, because we've said that for 80 years, that there's a difference between Klal Yisrael and a political state, and that conflating the two does damage to both. When the sitting Vice President of the United States is willing to say publicly on record that the blank check foreign policy isn't a Jewish issue. That opens real room for an authentic Torah position in American politics that we haven't had from a major national figure in a long time. He's also been the loudest skeptic in the administration of pouring unlimited money and blood into a foreign conflict, which again, that's not a portrayal of the Jewish people. And depending how you learn Svarim like Vayel Moshe, that's closer home than you think. Let me clear up something that gets muddled every time this conversation happens, because I think there's a lot of confusion on both sides that comes from people not understanding what they're even arguing about. First of all, it's not our business, and it should never be our business, what a Christian believes about his own faith. That's between him and his church. We don't paskin on Christian theology, and we shouldn't want to. But if we're going to talk politics through a theological lens at all, and plenty of people insist on doing exactly that, especially these days, then get the theology right, because right now most of the commentary doesn't. JD Vance is a recent convert to Roman Catholicism. He converted as an adult deliberately after real intellectual searching. This isn't some in-name only affiliation like Joe Biden, who shows up to church but doesn't believe anything that they teach. That matters here specifically because that Catholic theology on Israel is, of course, as everybody knows, not the same animal as the evangelical dispensationalist Christian Zionism most of us picture when we hear Christian and pro-Israel. Dispensationalism is a specific 19th century Protestant framework that reads the Zionist movement and now the modern state of Israel as a prophetic countdown clock to the end times. It's a big part of their eschatology, and it's precisely that framework that treats any criticism of Israeli government policy as theologically unthink of. Catholic teaching carries no such doctrine. And so when a Catholic vice president says its American and Israeli interests aren't automatically identical, and that not every policy agreement with the Knesset is anti-Semitism, he's not abandoning Christian Zionism. He was never operating inside that framework to begin with. People are attacking him for failing a test he was never taking. And that's exactly the confusion I need you to walk away from tonight. Not being dispensationalist does not make the man an anti-Semite. That's a category error, and I want to say clearly it's an error whether it comes from the pro-Israel right or from anyone else. You can reject end times theology completely, hold no Zionist theology or ideology whatsoever, and still be a sincere friend of the Jewish people, and even be a sincere friend of the state of Israel, which is a separate entity from the Jewish people. That's, first of all, that's not a contradiction, but that's also most of the Haredi world. Because let's be honest about where we actually stand. The overwhelming majority of the Satmar community are not anti-Israel in the sense that the Zionist media likes to portray. We can hold, at the very same time, Medinas Yisrael as a Zionist enterprise that has no religious legitimacy, is an anathema to our faith, is something that we oppose theologically, and yet that state, as a practical fact on the ground, is a serious strategic ally of the United States worth maintaining a relationship with. These two positions are not in tension. Anti-Zionist and pro-Israel as allies sit together just fine once you stop treating Israel as a religious category and start treating it as what it actually is on the world stage, a country. We certainly are upset that they try to claim to represent us, and we can emphatically oppose that, but nonetheless recognize that there is still a strategic ally to our country, the United States of America. And a man who wants a pragmatic, clear-eyed U.S.-Israel relationship, support where it serves American interests, and real pushback where it doesn't, and no automatic blank check to do whatever the Knesset wants to do, regardless of the cost to America, that man is describing a position most of our community already holds. He is not our enemy for saying out loud. If anything, he's the first major national figure to say in public what a lot of us have been saying in our own Batei Medrash for decades. I'd be doing you a disservice, frankly lying to you, if I didn't tell you that what the other side is saying, because it's loud and it's not nothing. Jewish democratic organizations and a good number of mainstream Jewish commentators, including some on the right, have hammered Vance hard this year. They point to a Holocaust Remember statement that didn't mention Jews by name. They point to defending the presence of supposedly open anti-Semites at a Turning Point USA event. They most recently point to comments on Joe Rogan's show where he suggested that a failed Iran deal fell apart because of the coordinated Israeli-linked influence campaign, language that more than one Jerusalem Post columnist called a straight-up anti-Semitic trope about hidden Jewish manipulation of American policy. These aren't fringe voices making these claims. This is a real-life controversy, not a settled matter. And you deserve to know that before you make up your mind. Because here's my honest read. Some of it is legitimate concern that the Torah-Yid should take seriously. Sloppy rhetoric about who's really pulling the strings is exactly the kind of thing that curdles into anti-Semitism, no matter who says it or why. It's not that there is the anti-Semitism. It's that those type of conspiracy theories create the anti-Semitism. And some of it, though, is Jewish organizations that are functionally Democratic Party operations wrapped in a Jewish flag, reflexively attacking anyone who won't hand Israel's government a blank check, while meanwhile they don't really support Netanyahu or any of that. They just want to oppose the Republicans. You have to tell those two things apart, and it takes more than a headline. I'm not telling you to wave away every concern. I'm telling you to weigh the whole record, domestic policy, foreign policy instincts, and yes, the rhetorical missteps, rather than let one clip on Joe Rogan's show decide it for you. Vance, if he is. And I know this one's going to bring out strong feelings on both sides, and that's fine. That's what the comments are for. Tell me where I got it wrong. Tell me what I missed. But do me one favor. Before you fire off the angry comment, go read what the man actually said in full, not the 15-second clip, and then decide. And then go ahead and write the angry comment, because angry comments are just as good for the algorithm as nice ones. All right. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we hope to see you later. Be well. That I wouldn't support Rubio if he's the candidate. I'm just saying, don't discount. At the end of the day, Chevra, a Frum Yid-in-America has to think in centuries, not in news cycles. Which political coalition protects your right to send your kids to yeshiva without a state mandate dictating your curriculum, forcing things down your throat that are totally against our values and against Christian values and Muslim values for that reason? And that's why there should be a coalition between these different religions to protect our religious freedoms. Which one isn't trying to drag the country into endless foreign wars on the theory that every regional conflict is America's business? Which one, when its own leaders sit down with pro-Israel activists and advocates, is at least willing to say, that's not automatically our problem, and don't call me a Jew hater for saying so? That's the calculation. Not do I love the state of Israel. You know where I stand on that, and that's not a secret. The calculation is who protects this, the Masorah, the Chinuch, the Daled Amos of Halacha that we actually live in every day. On that ledger, as of today, Vance is the strongest hand that the GOP has to offer, warts and controversies and all. That's not saying
We hope you enjoyed this content. This channel has over 5,000 videos, including Torah commentary, podcasts, footage of Jewish and historical events, and much more. We are sure you will find more videos you will enjoy. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment. Rabbi Kolakowski often makes videos based on questions in the comment section, so you might have a video made just for you. By helping this channel grow, you are helping to spread Torah. God bless.
Hier zie je in de mala